everyone, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host, Dave.
You forgot your volume again, didn't you? This is John.
I'm going to say, welcome to Puberty Speak. This is JD.
Oh my God, yeah, no, that's about how I'm feeling right now.
Excellent.
Balls drop.
Yes, they finally did.
Congratulations.
Yes. So
I'm
now a man.
There's the fire engines going to whatever house got hit by lightning a few minutes ago. This is awesome.
We had some tornadoes come through suburban Chicago late last night, early this morning.
Oh my God.
Well,
you got tornadoes, we got thunderstorms.
Lightning storms, not just thunder. I mean, that was, but it must. I told you, it hit right down the street. Now I'm hearing fire alarm, or the sirens. So
they usually go. Thunder and lightning usually go hand in hand.
Yeah, but this is bad. I mean, there's thunder and lightning storms, and then there's the cats are under the table and the house is shaking and the lights are flickering.
Little boy blue and the man in the moon.
It's an interesting concept because thunder is the sound you hear because of the energy that's released from a lightning strike, which means that the god of thunder is actually the god of lightning.
But he actually is the god of thunder and the god of lightning, so it works out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. All right. Enough of that nonsense. How are you guys
What
doing?
nonsense would you like to work with right now?
All right, we'll start with you, John. You will start with your nonsense. How was your nonsense this week?
I had my on Saturday. I went to my first major social function in a year and a half. Went to a best friend of mine's wedding.
Oh, I thought you went to a rave.
No, no. Do I look that young? Yeah, right. So went to a wedding. Felt weird without the mask, but everybody was supposedly fully vaccinated and everything. It was a very small wedding anyway, and it was nice. It just felt weird though. I kept checking for my mask, and I kept feeling I was kind of naked.
I've been naked at weddings before. I know.
I don't go to those weddings normally, but
you should mention that. I've got a story.
Segueing really quickly to hear that story.
So, coincidentally, it will be in 10 days. Yeah, 10 days exactly. It'll be my 15th wedding anniversary. Ooh. And one of my ushers was a teammate of mine in college, and we thought it was really funny because he had this alter ego that he would put on and do like little mock concerts with, but he would do it in a Speedo. And in college, that was hilarious. So we encouraged him to perform it at my wedding. I don't drink, by the way, totally sober. So he did. And my mother's entire family walked out. And we didn't speak for, and I'm not exaggerating about this, maybe 7 or 8 years. I still don't talk to a lot of them.
So you did it on purpose? Because that was a dream of mine when I was married.
It's funny. I don't know if any of them listen, so I won't go into great detail. It was a thing that I was not upset about when it happened, because mom had been gone. This will be 20 years coming up next month, actually, that mom's been gone. So I wasn't, totally against the idea. I was like, that's awesome. Until one of my aunts yelled at my wife on her wedding day.
Ooh, no.
And then I warned them all not to incur the wrath of Michelle, but they didn't listen. So it's been awkward this past decade and a half with some of them. So, funny you should mention that, because that's when I learned that not everybody finds male nudity funny. I learned that lesson at my wedding.
I find it hilarious because
I find it hilarious too.
We are weird looking naked, I'm telling you.
This dude was very, very thin, but he had like wiry muscles, and it was hilarious because he was quite charismatic. Not everybody found it funny, I guess. They were wrong. My grandmother, God rest her soul, just rolled her eyes and said, "My grandson's weird," and left it at that. But yeah, other people did not take it as well.
Gotta love grandparents, man.
Yes.
They know you best, and they always roll with things.
Yes. We also lost our dog last week, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trying to focus on the positive. That's my week, I guess. That's my story. I had nothing cool happen this week.
Nothing?
Oh, I had 8 state. Well, we had our state tournament series starts in Illinois a couple weeks ago for wrestling. We are 4.5 months behind everyone else. We had 8 state qualifiers, which is really good for us. We'll see how they do in the state tournament this week.
Wow.
Our record is 10 If we had everyone healthy, we probably had 12. So I'm really happy with the boys. We'll see how they wrestle. That's what I got going on.
Cool. So speaking of male nudity in weddings, I think
Cool.
I've told. I
I have
think
no
I've
idea
told.
where this is going, but
I love that this is male nudity in weddings. That is the episode title.
I know I've told the story
Male
before on the
wedding.
podcast, but I any opportunity to tell it. It was my wedding day. My father-in-law, God rest his soul, walked my wife down the aisle. God rest her soul, and walked up to the altar. And of course, my father-in-law is trying to flip the veil over, and he's using one hand.
Mhm.
And I'm like, and I whisper to him, use both hands. And he shrugged his shoulders, took his other hand out of his pocket, which was holding his pants up, flipped the veil. His pants went down around his ankles. He gave my wife a kiss, shook my hand, pulled his pants up, and walked away.
That's fucking awesome.
Yes, my brother-in-law's wife adjusted his pants before he went down the aisle. She thought she was tightening them, but she was loosening them.
I'm going to tell my wife this story the second we're off the air because it's great. I shoot weddings, which by the way, it's weird, John. Like you're talking about not wearing masks. I was prepared to wear all kinds of masks, but now the CDC says you don't have to, and it's hot, so I've been listening. But I've never seen that happen before. That's awesome.
The funniest thing is my wife's family on the side of the church they were on, they could all see it and they all cracked up laughing. And most of the people were, from my family were on the other side of the church, and they couldn't see it, just the people in the first couple rows, like the ushers and like my parents and whatnot. So they just heard the church laughing and they didn't know what was going on. And then a lot of people between the wedding and the reception went to Walmart and bought suspenders, and they kept walking up to the head table or up to the in-law table and putting them down in front of them one at a time.
What was his attitude? Was he super embarrassed? Was he kind of
he loved it. He laughed.
That's awesome.
That's the way he was. He was a jokester, so he didn't care.
That's one of the best wedding stories I've ever heard in my life. I love it.
Yes. And speaking of weddings, let's keep the theme going. I'm actually going to a wedding in July. It's my father's cousin's daughter. So
former roommate. Sorry.
Does that make her my third? Because my father's cousin's my second cousin. So her daughter, I guess, would be my third cousin. And so they were supposed to they did get married, but they were supposed to do everything last year. Actually on my birthday last year. It was going to be June 19th, and it didn't happen. So it finally got rescheduled to the first weekend in July. And the reason I bring this up is because I had to get a new suit, right? Lost weight. And I put this on my Facebook, but I'm going to share it with the podcast audience. When I went to get measured to get my pants, from when I started to now, I officially lost 12 inches off my waist.
Holy mother of
damn,
Pete.
dude, that's awesome.
That's epic.
So yes, I'm a 40-inch waist. I haven't been a 40-inch waist in quite some time. So
I'm proud of you, man. That's great.
Yeah.
But I tell this news with an important message to all men who are listening to this podcast. I would like to inform you, and this is difficult for some of you to hear.
Uh-oh.
Your waist goes around where your belly button is, not under your belly. So you might think you're a 36, but you're not, and your belly is sticking out over your pants. Stop doing that, guys. Okay? It doesn't look good.
I always thought old man pants were the ones that came up to your.
Yeah, I'm with John on this one. I think that if you pull your pants up over your belly, you look ridiculous.
No.
Yeah.
You're not. No. I think if your belly is sticking out and you got pants on that are too small, you look ridiculous.
Well, if you got that Dunlop belly, your belly Dunlopped over your belt. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about. The guys that do that,
Fair.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm actually this. It's no, you're not.
See, but you get down to my weight or under, and your waist does go it sort of recedes down past your belly button again.
If you go to get your measured for a suit or a tux, take note of where they measure your waistline. It's around your belly button.
Yeah, I got this big squatter's butt. So I've never, so like getting, like, I always got to wear like the wide legged pants. And like,
Yeah.
I wear a 36-inch waist, but I have like I wear 36s, but I have like a 34-inch waist because my ass and my legs are so damn big that I have a hard time with like now that the svelte like cut, like in the 90s, I was fine. Like everyone's pants were great. Everyone was wearing thick, wide legged pants. It's been difficult the last decade or so for me to find pants. Cause like, look at this.
Oh my God. Here we go.
Like, look at that big squatter's butt. Like I got.
God, baby got back.
Right. I've heard that my whole life. Girls in high school, when I was a
Who's
freshman
got a
in high
big
school,
old ass? JD's got a big old ass.
when I was a freshman in high school, seniors used to follow me around and the girls would like poke me in the butt. It was like demeaning. Like it really bothered me. But I got a big butt. So like pants are always difficult.
Oh, yeah.
That's something for the YouTube viewers. They got to see the
They got to see your
of
ass.
my butt.
Yes. Yeah,
And
girls, calm down.
Unlike my friend, I did not pull my pants down to show you my butt. I just gave you an example of it over or under the pants.
John, keep your pants on. Oh, that's
Thank you.
for those listening that might switch over to YouTube now. They might be curious.
Yes, go to YouTube, see my ass. So as you may could tell from our banter this week, it's a slow news week in the superhero speak world.
Yeah.
So we're killing time talking about pants and weddings and
butts. Yes.
Although
the lack
we still have
thereof.
Loki news, so
And
have Loki.
I was gonna say, and that's my big thing for the week.
This is my big thing for the week.
The fourth episode of Spiritually Speaking went up yesterday. And it was 8-Bit Ray from the Riddle Brain podcast. And again, it's a very deep episode. It's kind of important, and I think men should go listen to it. I mean, anyone should listen to it, but it deals with a subject that men don't normally talk about. So I know John loves to talk about it, but that's a whole nother story.
talk about what?
Your impotence. Anyway, no, kidding. So, now that that's out of the way, JD, please tell us.
We're looking for a Bluetooth spot or a Bluetooth. Damn it, I blew that joke. A Bluetooth sponsorship with that. Tell us what.
Please tell us you're caught up on Loki.
I'm caught up on Loki. I told you in the email I caught up on Loki.
I know, but this is for our audience. Because last week we had to do Loki talk without you.
No, you did.
So
I'm caught up. I watched both episodes. What a terrible show. I'm totally lying. It was awesome.
So
Everybody's wrong about who that is, by the way.
So we started talking. Oh my god, I know what you're gonna say, John. Go ahead, just say it. Look in the camera and say it once.
Sylvie?
No, I thought you were gonna say Mephisto.
Oh no!
I thought that.
He's pulling the strings.
Went through my head.
So anyway, we talked about the premiere episode last week, JD, but you weren't here.
I was not.
So what were your initial impressions of the first episode?
I haven't
first
laughed.
2 episodes. Mm-hmm.
I haven't. The first episode, my initial impression was I haven't laughed this much at a Marvel thing in years. Right?
Oh.
Like this is the first step. Because you don't really laugh at WandaVision, right? It was like awkward humor. That wasn't actually funny. And then there's nothing disturbing. And there was nothing to laugh about in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Right? There were some quips, but there wasn't like legit humor. This is funny. Like it's like evil Doctor Who.
It is, isn't it?
Yes.
I love it, man. Like Tom Hiddleston is so great, and I love that we're here for the birth of the Owen Wilson Renaissance, right? Because he hasn't done a lot in a few years, and they're bringing him back, and they're just like, "Hey, go be Owen Wilson." That's what we want here. We want an interdimensional time traveling Owen Wilson, and I'm here for it.
Owen Wilson is awesome.
He's great.
I'm going to say he's really good in this role, and he's not as Owen Wilson as he sometimes is.
He's more of a reserved Owen Wilson, but he's definitely Owen Wilson.
Yeah. Yes, but he's not the over top comedic actor that he normally is. He's
no.
Because he's more of a straight man to Loki anyway. Yeah.
Very much. But his delivery, boy, they have great chemistry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like shockingly great chemistry. Like the way they can go back and forth with each other is really good. Like I quite enjoy the show. I really like the faux 50s, 60s aesthetic of the TVA. Like it's got this timeless, not so timeless appeal to it. Like it's really cool, man.
which is it's a play on that's how it is in the comics. So I mean, it's
I've
a
never
play
read
on the-
anything. I've never read anything with the TVA, to be honest with you.
They're in like I think an issue of Thor and the Fantastic Four.
They were introduced in Thor, I think, and it number is one of the numbers on the elevator, I think. So
Who was writing Thor at the time?
Oh, I don't know.
God,
Now I got to look this up. Go ahead and continue.
I thought that was the Fantastic Four they were introduced. Anyway, and then so my next question was, so they kind of take Loki through his emotional arc of all the movies, all the movies within one episode, which I thought was interesting.
Well, one sitting, really.
Yeah, and then, but like, you know, is there real growth at that point? That is a question, you know, or is he just kind of like playing them?
That's the conundrum of the show with him being a variant, right? Are you robbed of all the character development, or is this is by definition of the show a different Loki?
well, he has. So well, see, he got a leg up on that though, because he didn't just like become a variant and that's it. Now he's on his own timeline. He got to see what happened to himself. He got to see what the bonds he made with, you know, he watched that whole movie, so he knows,
right?
Like, so I mean, you can consider that a nudge towards who he could possibly have been.
He's Marty McFly in Back to the Future 2, right? When he goes back to the variant Hill Valley, if you will. So he has all the experiences of both the previous Marty McFlys, the Marty McFly from the original 1985 timeline, the Marty McFly from the counter 1985 timeline, and this Marty McFly from this new timeline. So I mean, like, he is really the quintessential Marty McFly, which is essentially what this Loki is.
He's going to become more than just a variant. He's like he'll be Loki Prime or something.
That's also a potential episode title.
Yeah, the quintessential Marty McFly.
By the way, Walt Simonson.
Yeah, I see that. Well,
and Sal Buscema. Okay.
I did not get this deep into the Simonson run on the character, and I'm regretting it. This is fun stuff.
It was Thor number 372 in 1986.
Before we talk about episode 2, because obviously a lot is revealed and happens in episode 2 that has long affecting scenarios on the MCU. When they showed the cloak figure at the end and they said, "We're chasing you, Loki," who did you think it was? Did you think it was who it ended up being?
No, didn't see it coming. Didn't see it coming. What'd you think?
I'm like, it's female Loki. Like that was my guess. It was like
Lady Loki.
Because I'm like, it's well, number one, they gave us a hint in the episode. When you look at his file under gender, it says fluid,
which makes sense for a shapeshifter.
Right. Yes. And then I don't know, something about the way, even though the figure's totally cloaked, something about it was just still felt feminine. So it was like, I think it's a woman, but
makes sense. I mean, like that.
John kept saying it was Mephisto, so
I thought they were doing it. I thought it was possible. I'm like, oh, it'd be cool if they tease us with Mephisto, and they did tease us with Mephisto.
Well, they're doing it on purpose, though. It's like, you guys were all thinking there was Mephisto in there. Well, we're going to give you, we're just going to keep teasing you with that. Just blatantly.
Yeah, I like it. Like, because the Lady Mephisto comes from the JMS run, Thor, which is one of my favorite Thor runs of all time, to be honest with you. I really like that era where Thor was living in Oklahoma. And Asgard was hanging over Brox in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
that was a post Ragnarok, so it actually kind of works in that regard too. So that's a good run on the character, and I like this. Yeah, I think making her the variant version of Loki is fun. I'm good with it.
It's not Lady Loki.
Okay, John, what YouTube rabbit hole did you file down?
It's not a rabbit hole like Marvel Cinematic Universe on fandom. They just updated.
That's a rabbit hole.
Well. No, it's not just there. It's like
let's before we get to because she's not revealed. She's not revealed till the end of the episode, so we'll get to that in a minute because you have to remember, John, the MCU does things their own way.
Right.
They don't follow the comics. Yes, there are two separate characters. There's Lady Loki and there's Sylvia, but
that is different. Yes, that is a different character.
But I am willing to bet dollars to donuts in the MCU they're the same character.
I think you're probably right.
So
I don't think they can make them the same character though, right?
Yes, they can.
Yes, they can.
All it is Odin adopted a girl instead of a boy. That's the variant. That's the difference in the timeline.
Well, because Sylvie was originally human, wasn't she? She
Yes.
wasn't. She was
Yes, but
brainwashed to think she was Asgardian, but
Yes.
she never was.
But obviously, she has Loki's powers.
Yes.
So she is an ice giant.
But she could also be.
No, she isn't. Mind control was never a Lady Loki power
But it does.
possession.
But
That
it's
was
not going to be
always
the same.
Sylvie's.
I think this is. I think this isn't going to be the Sylvie version of Lady Loki. This is going to be Loki.
Well,
And this is just him shape shifting into a woman,
I
much
don't-
like he did in the JMS run.
Well,
where he
we,
just took the
we
form
know
of
that the
a woman.
character's name is Sylvie. We know that for sure because there were translations done for IMDb where it was translated and they translated it.
They may
and,
call her that, but it doesn't necessarily.
And
like
IMDb is not necessarily accurate.
right, but
That's true.
it's not just that. In the closed captioning,
You just got to
it
read
was
my
translated
IMDb
to
and you
Sylvie.
know
It was
that.
translated to Sylvie in other languages.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna say this is they might call her Sylvie specifically for branding purposes and for trademarks. So you can't just say Lady Loki because it's not a great name and it's not a great way to market her.
Right.
So they may latch that onto her, but I think I think this lady version of Loki, female Loki. Like I was trying to think of something clever. I got nothing. I think that's just what they're gonna call her.
I
fine.
think they're gonna go with the actual Sylvie.
No,
I think
I doubt
that-
it.
Nah, I doubt it too.
I really doubt it.
I mean, it's not going to be the same as the comics, but it's not going to be an amalgam of Lady Loki,
No,
aka
it's-
Loki in Sith's body and Sylvie. It won't be like it's not going to be a combination that it's going to be Sylvie. It's just
It's
I don't know
going
where
to
they're going
be.
to take it
It's
from here.
going to be. Odin adopted a female in this timeline, and she's trying to stop herself from being erased.
She succeeded in that at the end of the episode. We sure
Yes.
did. This is the most DC thing I've ever seen.
Marvel too?
What do you
mean DC?
She created the multiverse by setting bombs throughout timelines.
Well,
That's
yeah,
a-
but if
that
you were
is
going to
a
do
ver-
it, this would be it, right?
Oh,
Like,
no, well, for sure. But this
Yeah.
is as ridiculous as Superboy Prime punching the walls of reality.
Yes.
Well, no, it isn't because
But
that power
worked.
came out of nowhere, and
did.
that's like this is like
No,
they
it
have
didn't come-
they actually had the time devices that did that kind of thing, and
So-
she just took it to the next level with them.
Well, to be fair, Superboy Prime thing didn't come out of reality at the end of Crisis on Infinite Earths. They do put them in a pocket dimension,
right, but
in a
like,
paradise dimension.
him
That's-
punching through the walls of reality that was
was
kind of like
Jeff Johns. It's Jeff Johns doing Jeff Johns shit. No argument.
yeah.
But they literally created those little time wipe thingamabobbers specifically to create our multiverse, which can then go mad next summer.
True. I mean, yeah, it was a Chekhov's gun in the
So-
beginning because they're called
Yes.
time twisters, and the time twister name actually goes to beings in the
I have
original comics. So
I have a theory,
Dave?
and I thought it was going to be this week, but it'll be. I thought it was going to be last week, but it'll be this week coming up. They were waiting for the multiverse to be created in Loki before they could release the Spider-Man trailer.
Possible.
So people aren't looking at the Spider-Man trailer going, "What the heck's going on?" Where they can just say, "You want to know what's going on? Go watch Loki."
That's entirely possible.
well, yeah, because now that there are alternate timelines, you can get Doc Ock and
And-
and
And Electro
and Vulture. It was not Vulture. No,
Green
the
Goblin.
Green Goblin. Yeah.
Green Goblin, yeah. So what we just really, like I said, this is the most DC thing possible, as you created a television series specifically so you could get to a point in another movie or in another.
Right, but they
comic.
had,
but it works.
but they had this. Yeah, they had this setup for almost 10 years now for this.
They did.
So
they?
it's like
Did
well,
they have the setup for the Time Variance Authority? Like,
not the time variance theory, but the setup for multiverse and all that. Like did
we have a multiverse setup? I don't know if that's accurate. Because the multiverse thing kind of came out of nowhere. It comes out of nowhere in Far From Home, and then like it turns out to be a fake out. And then they announced the Multiverse of Madness, and I went, "Oh, multiverse, cool!"
Well,
But they
we-
never explained where the multiverse came from until now.
Well, we have
I didn't
a
think we had
Nexus
to.
being. We've got a Nexus being.
We do have a Nexus being.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, but I don't know. It makes more sense. Like DC
Oh,
would have
it does.
screwed it up.
I'm not arguing. I'm just saying on its elements, on its core, it's very DC. It's well done. I don't think, believe me, I don't trust Warner to have done Crisis on Infinite Earths like that,
Oh God, no.
or Infinite Crisis, or 0 Hour, or any of the ridiculousness they throw at us.
I
But
don't trust them
Marvel?
to be doing the Flash movie right now. It's like-
yeah, you're not wrong.
Oh, this was something too. I wanted to. I wished you were here for last week, so I'll ask it now.
Okay.
In the first episode, obviously, when he goes to get his Tesseract back, they open up the drawer and it's full of
Loved
Infinity Stones. You had mentioned this before, that Marvel doesn't do anything by accident.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice that like the time stones were different sizes and shapes?
I did.
Yeah. Do you
I
think
did
that's
notice
gonna? You think that's gonna play into anything?
I don't know, because like I like that the idea of it is that in this world, which is kind of like, you know, Medici guy, the bleed of this MCU. This is basically the bleed.
Uh-huh.
So I like that they have no power over there. So it could mean nothing. Could mean something very important. I'm not sure. It's interesting. It's very interesting.
Yeah. So, and then I keep thinking about the Time Lords.
Me too. I keep thinking about the Time Lords because this is so Doctor Who. It's ridiculous.
No. The Timekeepers. Sorry, the Timekeepers, and how, you know, they're trying to keep the sacred timeline. And like I kept saying, they're not going to do the same story from the comics. But now I'm starting to think maybe that's what's really going on. The whole reason the Time Lords, what they're doing is they want to keep the sacred timeline to assure they get created by the end.
Right. Or well, to ensure that was it Krang or not Krang. Oh my God. You know, the main villain who's coming up. The
Kang.
No, Krang.
Well,
I like it better with Krang actually. No, but that Kang gets created, right? Like something's going on in the TVA. It is not like there's somebody pulling strings behind.
So no, here's the thing. There's the whole point of this show, and I really love this because it's a very religious conversation. There's a lot of religious elements that I thought were going to be present in WandaVision that are here though, right? So like, and one of my favorite religious debates is the concept versus determinism and free will. Is like, does man have control of his own life if everything is determined? If everything is determined, what is the point of making decisions if they're all made for you ahead of time, right? These very interesting conversations. And that's pretty much what we're steering into here, that Loki are the questions that Loki is asking. So my thought initially is the Time Lords are Time Lords. Now you got me doing it. The Timekeepers are
just
ensuring,
like Gallifreyans.
yeah, just like guys. They are ensuring that the multiverse is created because that's what's supposed to happen.
But they weren't. Everybody was trying their hardest to stop this.
But that's until now, because it happened.
Well,
right?
I mean, it's interesting. It's an interesting concept too, because
it is, because that's
the only person that's truly free in the whole show is Loki, the variant Loki.
Yes, and which he says, and he says it to Mobius too, is we're the only free ones here. And it's like, but that's like, are you not? Are you all free? Like, because again, if they're making decisions, do they even have free will? Like, there's a lot of interesting material being covered in this that it's philosophical, so there are no answers to it. But I'm really curious to see where we go in the continuing weeks.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's funny because like you can even take it into the world of science too, because of the concept of space-time and how space-time is basically like a giant box that all time exists in, and everything that's happened is already everything that's going to happen has already happened, and everything that has happened will happen again. The concept is that everything is happening at once, but we can only perceive it as a straight line. So that would mean that it is predetermined. Time
is a flat circle. Can't crush. Like, yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that going on. I like flirt. I like my comics, and this is basically comics, flirting with the metaphysical, because you can do that.
Yes.
Just the ubiquity of superhero stuff.
I was watching a video and they loved the meta concept of Loki watching a movie about himself on a TV show.
Yeah. He should have changed the channel and watched Wanda for a while.
Could have. I like it was the same camera angles that the movies were actually shot in.
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
Like, so God has, the Russo brothers' eye and vision for the universe.
Yes. Yeah. Didn't you know that?
Oh, I learned it. So yeah, this is my wife thinks that Owen Wilson and the other one are actually the Timekeepers, because there's a nice little shot. And she spent too much time on me. She's starting to read, blocking and stuff like that. Because there's that scene where they're in the office and there's the three statues, and Owen Wilson sitting lined up with the one, and she's sitting lined up with the other, and then there's the vacant one that looks kind of like Kang in the middle. So her theory is that they are two of the Timekeepers. I don't know if there's any water to it, but they just don't know yet.
That reminds me, there was one scene in this episode No, Dave. No, this is not that. There's
Where
one
Mephisto
scene.
popped up. I know.
Yeah, no. There's one scene in this episode that's I when they were sitting in her office, Owen
Yes.
Wilson and what's her face, and he went to put his drink down, and she said, you know,
Yeah,
put
that's the scene I'm
coaster
talking
down.
about. Yeah.
Right. So the way they filmed that,
Mhm.
I swear, like the rings that he left on there, like she mentioned, you know, it's already got rings on it, and she said, well, yeah, because you keep putting your drink down. How much you want to bet that there's some kind of time loop thing going on, or like maybe maybe he doesn't know he's been there that many times, or there's some kind of
There's something
memory
there.
erasure. Like it was just too significantly filmed, you know?
There's a reason why that line of dialogue is there. There's a reason why those rings. There's a reason why all that was said. What that is, I'm not.
They
sure.
did the close up of the ring
And-
of where he put his cup down next to the rings too. It's like that's going to be like we're going to see
Means
another
something.
scene where
Well-
something's going to click. We're going to see that there's not a ring there or
You-
something like that. It's going to be like,
It's very much Chekhov's gun.
You're missing also something very important about that whole scene. The pen at the end from the high school.
oh yeah,
I forgot about it.
It was from Roosevelt High School.
yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, this from that." They kept talking about that other agent. The other agent probably is him, because time probably isn't linear in the TVA. That's my guess. And there's going to be a scene where he has that pen and gives it to her later on in the show, and that's when he's going to realize, like, yeah, the time's not linear, or something else is going on.
There's definitely something else, and you have that flexibility to do it in a show like this where it doesn't feel cheap. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting show, and I like the performances. I
Yeah.
really do. As an Illinois guy, the fact that they started the episode at the Renaissance Fair in Wisconsin, I got a good laugh out of, because
Oh,
that's
man.
what we do. We go up to Wisconsin and go to the Renaissance Fair and laugh at those people. So yes,
I thought it was funny because I've been going to Renaissance festivals since 1991 or 1990 actually. And back then they weren't like right now. These days they're it's like the Marvel movies. It's like it's been popularized. They're tourist traps now and all that. But back then,
Oh yeah.
people were going because they were a member of the SCA, or you know they really liked dressing up in garb, and back then there was that one guy who commented, you know, I need this. You shouldn't dress like that, and you're not dressed right or whatever. I'm like, yeah, back in the 90s and 80s, people would comment on it. I mean, nowadays you see people not dressed up all the time because they're, you know, everything's become touristy because they're getting a lot of money out of it. But back then it was way more tight knit.
I went to the Renaissance Fair in the late 1990s, and I'd never owned a single bit of Renaissance gear. And
So
Well, late 1990s is when it started to, like, that's when.
well,
especially-
I can
All
tell
right.
you. I can tell you is, if you're not in garb, no, and this doesn't happen as much anymore. But when you weren't in garb at a show at a Renaissance Fair and you went to see a show, 9 times out of 10, you were the person picked out of the audience for the audience participation.
Mhm.
that's why you stay out of shows.
Well, then what's the point of going to the
Eat
fair?
a turkey leg.
See, he's the
And to laugh at people.
John. He's one of those.
Yes, I am one of those. This should be clear after 4 years of being on this show.
Oh, you're a nerd,
I am a nerd.
but you're not
But
that kind of nerd.
I'm not that kind of nerd. I'm not a dress-up nerd.
I am a dress up nerd.
I'm not
Yes.
surprised to hear that.
When I get all this weight off, I'm going to be a dress-up nerd.
I know you've been saying it for a little over a year now.
Yep.
But back to the point. Yeah. So
have a
like
point?
it just they were real. I just that rang a bell for me because that the
Ding,
thing
ding.
that the characters in the Renaissance Festival saying that to Loki and the others, like, yeah, for that time period, that's exactly how they
Oh,
would have
I
reacted.
did get a laugh out of it.
I will say that too, like, because we talked about that. We went at the cat and mouse stuff between Owen Wilson and Tom Wilson,
And it's there.
Oh, it is so there. And I will say this: when they were at the fair and they were investigating the thing, and he's like saying, "Oh, this is a trap," I believed Loki at that point.
I didn't.
Oh yeah,
I mean, like I did, but I thought, but the thing with Loki is he's always that fork-tongued devil. So I believed him, but I know he was up. I thought he was up to something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But it was that's the beauty of the character and the fact that Tom Hiddleston just gets the character.
Right.
Like,
But then at the end of the second episode, he's like Sylvie. He's telling Sylvie, "Oh, I kept them there. Giving you a free shot." It's like he's playing both sides,
playing all the sides against each other. He's like Yojimbo, right? Yojimbo. Yeah, it's like Yojimbo, right? Fistful of dollars for my Western fans, right? He's the cowboy playing both sides against each other to get his own because he's out for himself.
Right. And here we are, the audience, like trying to root for Loki because he's the fun character, and we feel and after everything we've seen him go through, we have empathy for him, and yet this isn't that Loki and they're kind of using that against us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing too, because it was like, but when you really think about it, again, the whole meta concept is, yes, but Loki would know what Loki's up to, so Loki wouldn't take the shot that Loki was giving Loki.
Yes, therein lies the conundrum. All this is Loki knows Loki, so all these Lokis are aware of the other Loki that they can't trust Loki. So that's why Loki can't be. That's why Loki can't ever follow Loki, and why Loki can never really trust Loki. And this is why we have to call the one Loki Sylvie, or else we'll be doing this all in the next 3 or 4 weeks
until another Loki shows up,
which is possible.
I know. I think they're going to do that.
I think they will too. If I was writing it, I would. More Lokis.
Yeah, the more Lokis, the better.
There's only 6 episodes of this, though, right?
I think that if they went any further than this, they might wear out their welcome a little bit. I think WandaVision was a big ask, looking back on it, because that was 8, wasn't it?
And then, they cut stuff
9.
because of COVID, though. They cut a lot of stuff out because of COVID.
9 episodes is an ask, and these episodes are longer though. Like remember, WandaVision was only a half hour. These are full hour episodes,
right?
So it's
I know. I just want more Marvel. I'm sorry.
I don't blame you. When it's good, it's really good. And this is, I think we have a new favorite for JD.
We're gonna get more Marvel. Don't worry. There's still What If coming up.
Black Widow came out.
Well,
it's coming out. The reviews are out.
Yeah, because they did the preview,
and they're fairly good from what I've seen.
Ooh, I've seen some pretty negative ones actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no!
The only 2 I've read were not good.
Well, I don't read reviews. We're gonna wait till we see it.
Some of the, I mean, I haven't really looked into it, but some of the YouTubers I heard mention that they seem to like it, but who knows?
I tend to read professionals. So.
Well, just because they're on YouTube doesn't mean they're not professional.
Right. Yeah. Some of these YouTubers that I watch, they've got millions.
Some of them make more money
than
those professionals.
Fair.
They all make more money than those professionals.
It depends on who you're talking about.
Well, if you're just a columnist from a newspaper, no, you're not.
No, but if you're, like a Richard Roper or something like that, like you're doing all right,
But again, you got to stop reading the reviews. You got to go in with a
I just read one because I stumbled onto it on Twitter, and I didn't read more than a couple of the critiques, which kind of hit on some things I was a little worried about.
Huh.
I don't know. We can.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking now, and there's still most of them seem to be good.
I don't know.
Respectable sites.
I've been thinking this for a while. I think this might be Marvel's version of New Mutants.
No. Comicbook.com says that it's good. That's not too bad. It's not like we got this covered.
I don't think. I think that's a little unfair.
Yeah, let's judge this movie we haven't seen right now.
Yeah,
let's do that. Let's do it.
I'm going to.
Let's do a full review.
I don't know. Like I said, just the little bits that I've seen.
I think it might be their
3 was the movie it was compared to.
Blade 3? No, come on.
As in more interested in starting the new franchise than staying in the realm of the old one.
So more interested in introducing us to someone who could be the new Black Widow as opposed to giving us a story about the old Black Widow.
Correct.
So Scarlett Johansson was drunk half the time and on drugs, and they
they had to
film
CGI her
around it.
eyes open.
Like, yeah, it's like.
First of all, Scarlett Johansson wishes she had half the career of Wesley Snipes. So let's not say things we can't take back. Wesley Snipes is far better than Scarlett Johansson. Wesley Snipes never said I want to play a tree. Like Wesley Snipes went to prison, and he's far less problematic than Scarlett Johansson.
I'd never heard that.
Scarlett Johansson wanted to play a tree? Yes.
No, I heard that. I just haven't heard that she's been a diva on set or anything.
Oh, but just her, like, I should play whoever I want. That kind of stuff. Like when taking parts from characters of color and whatnot, playing, transsexuals and Asians.
Actors say stupid things sometimes.
And Wesley Snipes had a phenomenal comeback in Coming to America.
Oh my God.
He was gold in that movie.
I'll give you that.
And Blade was better than anything she's been in, especially Marriage Story. That was crap.
Yeah, then again, the residual she's getting far away anything Snipes is ever going to get.
No, because Wesley Snipes didn't pay his taxes, so he got to keep a lot more of his money until he didn't get to.
Well, I was going to say, I think when they went after him, he didn't get to keep anything.
No, that's what happens when you don't pay your taxes. But you're also talking about a different era too, of like what that stuff.
True.
Blade walked so that the rest of the Marvel universe could fly.
Yeah, no, Blade is what gave us all of this, basically.
Yes, we all owe it to Blade. Because Blade came out after that magical summer that gave us Batman and Robin.
All right, let's stop talking about Wesley Snipes versus Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, so we're moving on.
That would be an interesting boxing match. All right.
Don't give them ideas.
Snipes and knock a bitch out.
He did time.
He did.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
Federal prison, but I mean, like, time nonetheless.
All right, so I know we love doing this. Predictions.
I got nothing.
Any idea? Like,
are you kidding me?
I mean, obviously, the multiverse will still exist by the end of the season, right?
Oh yeah, for
like,
sure.
They're not gonna create it and have a movie coming out called Multiverse of Madness
to not deliver on said multiverse.
Exactly, and have No Way Home be based on multiversal characters.
We don't know that for sure yet. We keep hearing this, and we haven't actually seen it. We've heard like, oh, the Spider-Man trailer is coming soon, and we haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah, but we know that they've got, like, Electro and Doc Ock and all that.
We do, but that's all from, like, casting announcements. We haven't actually heard anything official from Sony and Marvel.
That's because prediction, like I said, whatever happens in this next episode, where like they're gonna reveal something about the multiverses, or they're gonna start showing, obviously all these agents were running out to fix things, so they're gonna give us glimpses into some of these multiverses. And it could just be them standing in front of a green screen and they're actually playing a clip from, The Amazing Spider-Man or whatever.
The only thing I want is what in one of those scenes to see Deadpool saunter, across the background. That's all I want to see.
No.
I don't want
Deadpool on one side and Green Lantern on the other.
Well, that you won't. You definitely won't see.
Yeah, you can't get that. Can't get there from here, unfortunately. Not yet, anyway.
I don't know. You think they'll do that? You think they'll actually have clips from, like, the other movies? Like, I don't know.
They might.
It's definitely a might. I don't know what I think about that.
Or have it set up to the point where it's a clip from another movie, but then whatever this bomb went off shows the variant going off and them trying to stop it.
Is Loki following the variant, or is he going to do his own thing?
He senses an opportunity. We know that, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, he ran in and they closed the door, and Mobius was like, "No." I mean, what did he think was going to happen? Like,
to Sylvie, it's going to be, "I'm trying to help you," and if he comes across Mobius again, it's going to be, "I'm trying to help you."
Yeah. Loki's definitely in it for Loki. Where do we think Loki, like the real Loki, Tom Hiddleston, ends in all this?
That's a good question.
This might end with the TVA in ruins and him just being free.
I think
you might be right.
I think
I mean, if we know
So-
the multiverse is going to be like a thing after this, that means that what's the TVA doing at that point, right?
The MVA,
Yeah, that's right.
multiverse authority. I don't know.
Multiverse
So
variants.
what's-
of the-
So that's the question, right? And it goes back to Coulson. You don't bring Coulson back because then deaths don't mean anything. You don't bring Black Widow back, then deaths don't mean anything. Do you bring Loki back? I mean, because he sacrificed himself to try to save his brother.
Yeah, but I think Loki it works with, and I think the Coulson thing shines a light on it. Now that's the question too: is does this action create the Shield universe? Right? Because we assume that Shield moved in the same time as the Avengers, when actually, what if it all happened as a splinter of what just happened because it was in the past? So we've been Mandela affected into it.
Huh. That's
What
a
if
good
Shield
question.
never really happened? Like, what if that Agents of Shield was never a thing that happened, but we all have a collective memory of it because now it's been written into reality?
That is weird.
It did happen though.
Are you sure? You didn't watch it. You remember watching it. You have memories of watching Agents of Shield.
At that point, what are we if not what our memories are?
Mm-hmm. Are we
right?
nothing more than an echo of our memories?
Look, all I know is I drink, therefore I am. So
It's a little.
okay.
It's a little too. That's a little too deep for this time at night.
not without hard liquor.
The sun is still up in Chicago, baby. So
7 there.
8 actually.
8:30.
8:20. Yes. I don't know. Like, it's interesting. Like, I think
but that is actually a good. That's a good thought. I mean, you could do that much. You could have them show them maybe the worlds they go into, the Agents of Shield. They show the Agents of Shield being set up.
Maybe.
They show Daredevil and Luke Cage running around the streets.
because we've established that is actually, in fact, a different Marvel universe. Correct?
Exactly.
They show Power Fist universe just getting completely cut and destroyed.
Oh, that's how they
Swallowed
do
up
it.
by the Anti-Monitor.
yeah.
They're able to stop. They're able to stop and create it.
Ever joining, yes. Boy, did that guy get a shit end of the Marvel stick.
Oh my god!
It's not. Well, it wasn't really. I mean, the actor was bad enough, but the writers were the
The
ones.
writing was horrible.
That show sucked ass.
Yeah, bad writing, bad directing.
Yeah, whole thing didn't work. Unlike this show, that works really well. What I like is that we can't just like know where we're at. Like, it's hard to kind of point your finger. It's okay. This is where this is headed. Like, even with all our wild Wanda speculation, we knew we were gonna get the twins. We knew Agatha Harkness was coming.
Mhm.
We knew Wanda was going bonkers. So we all had a hunch that Sam was going to get the shield, right? So we all kind of had it. I don't know what's going to happen here. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't know either. And then anything can happen.
Anything can. Yeah, that's true. Especially when you're destroying timelines and whatnot and creating a multiverse. Literally anything can happen. Kind of exciting.
You can bring Tony Stark back.
They're not going to do that.
Only if Robert Downey Jr. wants to.
Mm-hmm. Does he need to make? Was it?
Does he want another
Private school?
Does he want to make
ain't
Doolittle 2? Right.
He may want to make Doolittle 2. He can do whatever the hell he wants. He's got the FU money.
I don't know. Private school for someone like him isn't cheap. And
Is Robert Downey Jr. going to private school? Did I miss something? Is he doing the Rodney Dangerfield
but he has
thing?
kids.
He does have kids.
Rodney Dangerfield, nice callback.
And yachts aren't cheap.
Yachts are not cheap. That's what I'm saying. Boats are a good reason to do something you don't want to do. You know, as this private school, you never know.
Yeah,
I could see him sending his kid to regular school, public school in LA. I'm sure they'll be fine.
Will we get the Captain America cameo we wanted in?
That is a possibility.
Oh my God! Remember the rumor that Chris Evans signed on to do something?
Yeah. Maybe this is it.
Maybe we see Captain Hydra in an episode in one of these universes.
Is that what we're gonna have now? You think we're gonna have Loki quantum leaping essentially through this fractured multiverse? Because if so, sign me up. I'm okay with this.
Get a continuing series.
Yeah.
Quantum leap.
You know, we just set up What If too.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
just justified the existence of the What If show.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, when Marvel plans something out, they planned, man, if DC did even a 100th of the amount of planning that Marvel does for like their entire movie structure, it's like it wouldn't.
And that's the thing
Chekhov's
too,
ultimate nullifier.
you can't,
Yeah.
and that's the whole thing too. Like you, it's funny because like some people try to say, oh, they don't have a plan that's that deep. You can't be doing this stuff without a plan.
Well, here's the thing too, is like when you've written something, you know that when you're writing the outline, it never stays like 100% on the course of the outline. Like, and that's the nice thing about planning is that when you're creating something, you see tunnels where you can take things into the future.
Right.
And a lot of times like, oh, I did this and this dovetails into that. So some stuff is planned. Other things are happy accidents, right? That's like when you write a series, like we're reading these Jim Butcher books right now. And I know he didn't have 14 books planned at the beginning, but as you're getting to know your characters, as you're building your universe, opportunities and doors open and you step through them because you see more chances. And that is, yes. Do I think that this was the plan when they made Iron Man? No, clearly not. But like you've let the universe over 13 years now, we've let this universe grow and breathe into something that's never really existed in film or multimedia. It goes beyond film and television. Film, television, video games.
But now they plan things out.
Like, but I'm saying it's like it feels like this is all planned since Endgame.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, yeah, for sure. That's definitely where they wanted to go. Like when they had their next retreat or whatever, they were saying, okay, what do we do? What do we do now? And this is clearly the path they've been on. Right. I didn't foresee it coming. Pretty happy we're here though.
Yeah. All right.
Multiverses are hard to pull off. I want to see what they do.
They're the only ones that have pulled it off so far.
DC cheated us. They just wiped theirs out. We have a multiverse. God.
Now we don't, and now we do again because
we do again. Right?
Yes,
yeah. Flashpoint. We're getting there again. Hey, did you guys see that picture of Michael Keaton dressed as Bruce Wayne again? It's like a paparazzi shot. It looks pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah.
Isn't that one of the articles?
I don't know. I didn't check the notes this week. I'm just going on the seat of my pants.
Me too.
All right. Well, on that note, boys and girls.
Oh, some bitch. Yeah, it is.
We're going to take our first commercial break, and we'll be right back.
If you're looking for adventure this summer, escape with Marvel Comics. Fight crime with Spider-Man. Meet the Fantastic Four. And watch Captain America in action. May the Force be with you as you battle the evil empire in Star Wars. Discover the secrets of the South American jungle in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And with Marvel Comics, you're never alone because they can go with you in the car or to the park, even on a rainy day. Marvel Comics are your ticket to fun and adventure this summer.
You pulled a John. All right.
I did pull a John.
Right.
It's a spoiler. It warms you up.
All right, we're back, and you know what that means, boys and girls. It's time for John and JD's favorite segment of the show: social media madness. All right, so first we talked about Tom Hiddleston has come out and said that he is not going to be in Love and Thunder as Loki.
Good.
Yes. To which Random Randy Savage said, yeah, the story doesn't take place in the future. Loki is going to have his own craziness helping Miss Marvel. What is that?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Okay, I'm not crazy. So Randy, you have to explain that one. Do you know
we're not
We
crazy. You're crazy.
Do you know something about the Miss Marvel movie that we don't? The Gorilla Brain podcast, 8-Bit Ray from the Gorilla Brain podcast said, trust nothing Marvel actors say.
That's also accurate.
That is very accurate, but...
Do you know what acting is? Do you know what the profession of acting is?
Lying.
Lying. Your profession, you're getting paid to lie to people. You're a professional liar.
However, I will say, I know this one I kind of believe because I kind of feel like he was too busy doing Loki to be involved with
I think you're probably right on that. Plus, we might need it. A dead Loki might serve the mainstream Marvel universe better, but him being alive in reality.
I also kind of think, I don't know, I think it goes back to the Coulson death being impactful, and then obviously Loki's death impacted Thor, so it's like, do you have him bring him back that quick, reunite them that quick?
It would mess Thor up pretty badly. Like, I don't know how you write around that. Like, if he found out that Loki was still alive, you can't write another movie without him dealing with that first.
Yeah, agreed. It's too plot reliant.
And then Shadow Walker said, and I'm sorry, this one I don't buy at all. Reason Loki probably is not in the Thor new film is because they're planning a Loki movie. No, we're getting a Loki TV show.
This is the Loki movie.
Exactly.
Mhm.
He's getting a 6-hour movie technically, which is better than a 2-hour movie. So, all right. Moving on, of course, we talked about
Stormfront.
shoot. Did I click okay, I did the wrong one here.
Oh,
What do you do?
by the seat of our pants.
The Aquaman tweet is the wrong one. All right, well, we'll skip over that. So we talked about Stormfront last week, of course.
The book.
The Jim
Yes,
Butcher movie.
Not the radical right wing website.
Yeah. Oh God.
Well, yeah. Okay, here we go. The Recasted podcast said, "Great Billy Joel album. My favorite on there is
Downeaster Alexa.
and I believe that album is called Storm Warning, not Storm Front.
Okay, so I read that and I'm like, I don't get it.
Are you too old? Or are you not a Billy Joel fan?
Did Billy Joel have an album called Stormfront? I don't remember.
I think it's called Storm Warning. It's got a red and black, like the Storm Warning flag.
Then the joke doesn't work. Sorry, recasting.
No, it doesn't.
No, it's called Stormfront.
It is called Stormfront.
Then the joke does work. I'm an asshole.
The 11th studio album.
What is on that album? Is there anything that mainstream non-hardcore Billy Joel fans would recognize?
That's not her style. We didn't start the fires on it.
Oh, okay. That's one of his biggest songs.
And Downeaster Alexa.
I'm not even familiar with that song.
I Go to Extremes is on there too.
I Go to Extremes. I don't know that one.
Oh my God!
That was a major one.
I was a child when this album came out. Cut me some slack.
No, you couldn't have been a child.
What year, John?
It came out in 1989.
I was 9. That is a child.
Oh my God! You are a child, aren't you?
I'm the youngest person on the show.
All right.
I'm a child. Celebrating his 15th wedding anniversary in a week.
Hey, doing better than me.
Of course, a couple weeks ago, we talked about Aaron Taylor Johnson cast as Kraven the Hunter. A lot of people keep talking about this one. John Smith said, I can see it. He was my top pick for Moon Knight, too. And Reed Hellion on Webtoon said, just glad to see him getting somewhere after the MCU was like, whoops, never mind.
Nice.
I think dead Quicksilver serves the greater purpose better than living Quicksilver does. Because we still have a really good living Quicksilver whenever we want him that they teased us with.
Yeah,
True.
I know.
That now we've justified his existence.
Ah. You're right.
Now we have splinter universes.
All right. So I'm going to say this.
Owner.
I forgot to include the one tweet for Aquaman. I can't find it now.
Oh, what did it say?
But it was Tim Jones' reply. So here's the other one that I was going to pick. We talked about they revealed the bat symbol for Michael Keaton, for his new suit for the upcoming Flashpoint movie.
Yeah.
And Timothy Jones said, the emblem looks like a bat cookie cutter.
I saw that. He's correct.
And JD, you replied, sweet.
Yes, sweet cookies. Get it? I can make the dad jokes too, Tim.
Yeah, exactly. But you know who makes them really well? Tim Jones.
Tim Jones on Sour Grapes.
And Sour Grapes available. Better newspapers across the country. And then finally, the story that just keeps giving.
I'm starting to think they should actually make this movie, just based on the responses we get every time this gets posted on our Twitter.
Of course, we talked about the possible Jurassic Park Fast and Furious crossover. I can't even say it with a straight face.
You spelled it Jurassic Furry, which is a completely different movie.
Yes,
That's in the show notes. Don't tell people my My mistake.
There's money.
Jurassic Furry.
There's money in Jurassic Furry.
Oh yeah. Oh, no doubt. And just to make sure, trademarked by Dave Markowski. You need-
Too fast, too furious.
SD Comics said, to quote Ian Malcolm in the second JP film, Jurassic Park film, "This is the worst idea in the long, sad history of bad ideas.
Yes, that's accurate.
These two franchises have been sort of done to death. Let's go make some new stuff out there."
But if you put them together, you are making new stuff. It's like leftovers, right? Like sometimes when you're hungry and you open the fridge and you got like some pizza and some meatloaf and you're really hungry, so you make the pizza and the meatloaf, and it turns out to be pretty good when you eat them together. So that's what really hit me. It's like movie leftovers, and it could actually work.
It's like dinosaurs and furries.
Yeah, dinosaurs and furry. Now there's another thing that could be done.
We are getting What If in the Marvel universe. Let's stick that in there. It's
Based on our social media interaction, I think, was it Universal that owns this? Who owns this franchise?
So. I think it's Universal.
Yeah, I think Universal
Jurassic.
should
Yeah.
go ahead and pull the trigger on Too Fast, Too Furious.
Do they have a red label?
I do now.
Oh my God!
If I don't see Dominic Toretto running away from Velociraptor, what are we even doing? What are we even doing?
Dominic running away from a Velocipaster.
See, now you're thinking.
You're
thinking. Now we're outside the box.
in a dog costume or a bear costume or whatever they wear.
And the Velocipaster needs to be voiced by Antonio Banderas doing his El Mariachi character, because it makes no sense, but it would be great.
No. Wait, who's the guy from Ghost Rider?
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage
Oh,
in a bear suit.
These are literally the movies he makes. These are the modern Nicolas Cage movies. They're all nuts. They all make no sense. They're all great, but not good great. But like
no.
terrible great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, Nicolas Cage has reinvented himself as a trauma star.
All right.
Speaking of, this is not in the notes. Speaking of trauma, looks like the Toxic Avenger movie gonna be a thing.
Yes.
Not sure how I feel about it.
That I believe.
Oh no, they're casting like they're ready to like go with this thing. Don't know how I feel about it.
Did you hear they're remaking Carrie?
Again?
Not Carrie, Christine.
I did see that.
Yes.
Yeah. Brian Fuller. He actually did an interview with the guy from Hannibal, the great TV show Hannibal. He did the King Cast is a really good podcast where these two guys talk about Stephen King, and he came on and did his interpretation of. He talked about why Christine is a great, queer-minded movie, and it was like he sold me on it. Now they're actually going to do it. So I'm like, oh, cool. I'm down. It sounds like it's going to be an interesting movie.
Okay.
It's what's the name of that? They're doing all the horror stuff now.
Blumhouse,
yes.
and that's what they do. Blumhouse, they make cheap horror movies and make a shit ton of money.
Yep.
Sounds like Full Moon Studios, but
no, but they're actually good. Like Blumhouse figured, like they did the Invisible Man movie with.
Oh, they did
Elizabeth
that.
Moss,
Okay, yeah.
Yes,
They're way
Blumhouse.
higher end than.
Yeah. Blumhouse, but they're like super. They're like cheap. They're like super cheap. They're not like a Roger Corman, but they do movies for like $4, $5, $10 million, and they make like 50, 60, which is like not great on the big scale, but like it's 5-6 times your budget. So
It's profitable.
yeah, it's super profitable. They're like New Line was in the 80s. Like they've figured out how to do horror because you don't want to spend a lot of money on horror.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But you know what you do want to spend a lot of money on?
Me. No.
Our Nerd Madness tournament. We're nearing the end, guys. We got one matchup left.
It was not your best segue.
No, it wasn't. But they
I'll
can't
take
all be winners.
No, I'll take it.
All right. So we had our finals going on here for Nerd Madness. We had comics versus TV. We had the Immortal Hulk versus the Mandalorian. Anyone have a guess?
Mandalorian is mowing shit down left and right.
Yes. So Mandalorian wins 69.4% to 30.6% to the Immortal Hulk.
This is the way, yada yada yada.
And then, of course, you have D Square replied to that poll with a GIF of a guy looking at a car. I guess it's broken down, and they're like, "Would you look at that?"
Don, what the hell is this GIF? I know you're listening, so you're gonna have to. I know you'll tweet this eventually.
Yes.
What the hell GIF is this?
Yeah, Don, what is this? And yes, I get your point. Of course, we all knew Mandalorian was going to win. You were the one who said that whoever's left at the end is just going to lose to Mandalorian. Because here we go, guys. Movies versus anime. One Night in Miami versus Demon Slayer.
So I have a legit, like, Demon Slayer took the L here to One Night in Miami, but I have a legit question. Didn't One Night in Miami lose the movie one last week?
No. It was.
Did it have like an epic comeback? Wasn't it getting its butt kicked for a long time?
No. JD, it was One Night in Miami versus Soul.
And wasn't Soul winning? I thought Soul won.
No, you were so PO'd.
Yeah, because I thought One Night in Miami, I was PO'd because I thought One Night in Miami was going to lose. Was I wrong to be? I was wrong to be PO'd. Like,
wait a minute, hold on.
So mistakes were made,
but you can't control, like. Believe me, I'm fine because
One Night in Miami won 54.2% to 45.8%.
Must have had a tremendous comeback because it was losing forever.
Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong one.
So Dave literally advanced the wrong team.
Hold on. You're right. It was Soul one. You're right.
Well, it's our tournament. We're advancing the team that we like better. So.
Oh my God, I can't believe that. And no one called me out on it.
Mistakes were made. I'm calling you out because it was my region. So I'm like, I knew.
Oh my God. Yeah, but like usually the guys in the Geek World All-Stars will call me out on this shit.
I shouldn't have said anything. But yes.
Oh my God. I can't believe I did that.
That's fine.
I totally looked past it when I was setting it up.
Everyone did. Like, Soul had this epic come from behind win that nobody acknowledged.
Oh, I feel bad for Soul. They'll get an honorable mention at the end.
They'll receive the true second in wrestling's movie.
And it still be Demon Slayer. I'm kind of upset at that, but
if it makes you feel better, Demon Slayer probably would have lost to Soul too.
Yeah,
that I would have been okay with. But
One Night in Miami is a far better film than Soul.
Well, there you go, JD. You're going to get One Night in Miami versus The Mandalorian.
It's the race to second.
You think The Mandalorian might win?
I have a hunch that this may be the way.
Nice.
Not my best material, but
yes. All right. So
I'm just glad we're going to get our March Madness tournament done before July.
So you want to know? You can follow us on social media and vote for the winner of the One Night in Miami.
Or the loser, who knows?
One Night in Miami versus Picard. Versus Mandalorian. Then here's our good friend D Squared to tell you how you can follow us on social media and be part of Social Media Madness.
Explain the gift, Don.
Want to be part of Social Media Madness? Make sure you're following superheroespeak.com, where you can find all of the social media links for the show at the top of the page. While you're there, check out previous episodes of the podcast as well as other great content. And check the site often because we are posting great comic book reviews as well as other comic book and movie content every day. Make sure you are following us on Twitter at SuperheroSpeak. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. Simply follow them at *_geek. The Geek World All-Star Podcast Network include great programs such as the Pup Prism Power Podcast, Colt 45, So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, and of course, Superhero Speak. Search for GW All-Stars. You will not be disappointed. Now it's back to Dave and the boys on Superhero Speak.
All right. Thank you for that, Don. And don't forget to check out the Omega Level Nerds podcast, available wherever podcasts are and on YouTube. And on that note, boys and girls, we're going to take our second and final commercial break, and we're back with the news. Because there's kind of some news. I don't know.
If you're looking for adventure this summer, Escape with Marvel Comics. Fight crime with Spider-Man. Meet the Fantastic Four and watch Captain America in action. May the Force be with you as you battle the evil empire in Star Wars. Discover the secrets of the South American jungle in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And with Marvel Comics, you're never alone because they can go with you in the car or to the park, even on a rainy day. Marvel Comics are your ticket to fun and adventure this summer.
All right, we're back. All right, guys. So first up, as JD already alluded to, we got some set pictures leaked for the upcoming Flashpoint movie. The one that everyone's I mean, obviously, yes, there were pictures of Michael Keaton dressed up like Bruce Wayne.
To be fair, that picture of Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne is nowhere in this article.
Oh, you're right. It's not. I just grabbed.
I was not spoiling the art. I was not spoiling.
I grabbed the first one. I assumed all the pictures were in here. We got it, but the pictures that everyone is talking about is, of course, of Supergirl. Of what's the actress's name? Playing
No
Supergirl. Oh shoot! I can't find the Kersley Clemens. Oh no, she's playing Iris
She's
West.
playing Iris, yeah.
Yes.
Who was playing Supergirl?
Well, you look that up. So everyone is talking about these pictures, which it's funny because I see people complaining about the pictures and then people loving the pictures. Now, there's a version of Supergirl in the comics that has short, dark hair like this, and that is what her costume looks like in the comics.
This is the Supergirl from Injustice.
Sasha Cal is.
That's the actress's name?
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's her in costume, and she looks like the Injustice version of Supergirl.
Yeah,
like,
that's what she looks like. Spot on.
Yeah, so it's probably the most comic accurate thing they've done.
Way more than this Flash costume that I have to keep looking at.
Yeah.
Hate that thing.
Yeah. It looks like he should be clinking all the way down the road as he
Like
runs.
the Tin Man.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because people are complaining because she's not blonde, and it's like, well, because
that's not that Supergirl. This is not Kara Zor-El.
Right. This is a different version of Supergirl. Like, yeah, I don't know why people are getting bent out of shape over us.
We just, because they're comic fans. What else do we do? Like, we just spent a half hour talking about multiverses. This is literally the exact same story. Right.
Yes.
It's the same exact story. This is a multiversal, because we have freaking Michael Keaton playing Batman. Like, this is a different universe. I hate you nerds.
Stop saying you hate our audience.
This isn't, no, to be fair, this isn't our audience. These are other nerds. Like, our audience, we have smart, intelligent. If you listen to this show, you're a smart, intelligent fan. You are not these stupid people that are upset over the dark-haired Supergirl and don't know that this Supergirl is from Injustice, Gods Among Us. Like, you are not this dumb, Superhero Speak listener. It's you, every other people who aren't listening to the show that you're stupid, and I hate you.
The other interesting thing in the pictures is Ezra Miller, they point out, if you look closely, is wearing the Flash ring. You know, the one where the costume pops out of. How do you do that with an armored costume?
Yeah, exactly.
That is an excellent question. One that I don't have an answer for, to be honest with you.
You know, I always thought the ring was kind of silly anyway, because, like, why would you, if it's a secret identity, why would you walk around with a Flash ring on?
It's an anachronism from the 50s, you know?
Yeah, it is. So what if the suit doesn't actually live in the costume? What if this, I'm sorry,
in the ring?
What if the suit doesn't live in the ring? What if the ring is more of like an Easter egg?
Oh, it probably is, but
then something with a function. You know?
Though
I'd like to know where the Flash suit comes from and how it functions, because we didn't get any sort of origin about that.
I mean, they do it in the TV show.
We did get it in the TV show. We have plenty of it in the TV show, but in this movie,
no. But I'm saying he now has the ring that the costume comes out of.
Oh,
in the
does
TV
it?
show.
I just meant like the what's his name? Ezra Miller bat costume, a Flash costume. Like, we got no origin. Like, he's got this Tony Stark level suit that we don't know where it came from. How did he develop it on his own? How did
a kid living on his own with his dad in prison do this? Yes.
Build
who was getting jobs in a dog watching store or whatever.
Right. Pet store is what we call that. Like, no, but I mean, at least both the John Ship version and the Grant Gustin version, they got it from Star Labs. So if he gets it from Star Labs, I'm fine. Just tell me he got it from Star Labs.
Well, isn't it the same conundrum as Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man suit?
Huge conundrum. Where the hell did that thing come from?
Yes, yeah.
Because in the Tobey Maguire Superman or Spider-Man, they have the opportunity. He's doing the wrestling thing. Promoter gives him the suit.
Right.
It makes sense. They avoided that. I don't know why. Never made sense to me.
Yeah,
Yes.
but the suit, the Tom Holland suit, the original suit made
Makes
more
sense.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
because it's it was just some kid. He put together what he could find.
Yeah, absolutely. That made sense. Like when they get these ornate, like I get where Batman gets it from. He's rich.
Mhm.
Where did you mean like Superman? It was his whatever cape, bath, like a swaddling cloth. These other people, where do you get it from? Where?
Well, I mean, at least they took. I will say this: in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, where they over-explained things and ruined origins, they did take a lot of time to show how he put the suit together. So,
They did. So literally, all they had to do was have the promoter just have him go, "Hey, come back next time. Here's a better suit." Nothing else has to change because that's literally what Stan Lee did. That is literally from Amazing Fantasy 15.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know why they didn't do it. It's weird. It's been bugging me for 20 years, Dave. Thanks for mentioning that.
That's what I'm here for. It's only been 19 years, by the way.
It bothered me in the trailer.
Yeah, you knew in the trailer they weren't going to explain where the suit came from.
Speaking of suits,
Speaking of suits. Oh, is this a segue?
I'm segueing.
Yes.
Very nice. Very good.
Thank you.
Yes, we got our first look at the new Shazam suits for Shazam 2.
What do we call them?
I can't say the Marvel family anymore.
Right,
can
they're not the Marvel family. I don't know what else to call them though.
That's a good question. The Shazam family?
idea.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, it does.
So I mean, I don't know. Did we need costume redesigns? I know that that's what they do in Hollywood.
They're pretty subtle. They don't bother me.
Yeah. Though it does look like what's the actor who plays Shazam?
Zachary Levi.
Levi. It does look like it doesn't look like he's got fake muscles on underneath anymore.
No, he looks. Yeah, I agree with that. He actually looks pretty jacked in this suit.
Yeah. So even if it is fake muscles, it's better fake muscles.
Yes, true.
But someone else said this on another podcast where they were talking about the reveals. There was actually originally set photos leaked of Zachary Levi, and then they released this official photo of all of them. You said this originally, JD. It's like it's what a kid would think a superhero looks like.
Yeah, which is literally what they are. So it works for me.
So it makes sense. Yeah. So
I need to comment on just how amazing the Mary Marvel costume is. Looks fantastic.
huh? Really?
It does. Yes, it does. It looks fantastic. She looks spectacular in it. Like it's awesome. It's well done. I can say it without being perverted about it. Like, I mean, she looks great in the suit. Like, it's a great looking suit. Mary Marvel is a very iconic character, and she looks fantastic. She looks gorgeous. She looks, great in the character outfit. Well done, DC. These outfits look great. Although I forget the name of the one next to her. Looks a little too Black Adam for me. I don't think they should have gone with black.
And it's probably not black. That looks like navy blue or something.
Oh, yeah,
And
you're
it's
right.
just really dark.
But it photographs as black, so, which is probably the issue because now I'm looking at this and I think of Black Adam. So.
Who's the actress who's playing Mary Marvel?
I'm looking that up right
It's
now.
Michelle Borth.
What do I know her from?
Michelle Borth. I don't know. I looked her up a while back, and it's been like, let's see, No Good Deed, commercial. I don't think.
She is not a young woman. She is in her 40s.
Yep.
She looks great in the Mary Marvel outfit. Is it even Mary Marvel? Like again, I don't know. I assume they're not going to call.
Yeah. No, they're not calling him that.
No,
Yeah, I
what are
don't
they
see.
gonna call him?
Like, there's really nothing in here that was mainstream, right?
Right.
There are a couple of movies, but Conrad and Michelle, Devious Nanny, Playing It Straight, they all.
I'm okay with it. Looks good.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking at they have the two. I'm on the Twitter page and I see the two costumes back to back from the last movie and this movie. They're an upgrade. Actually, I'm okay with this. They look.
Yeah, they all look good.
Yeah.
Let's see. She's 42. She's from New Jersey.
I'm not looking at her
Is she
Wikipedia.
single? Oh, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
I'm not on her Tinder profile. I was just commenting on the suit and that she looks good in
Oh,
the
oh,
suit.
oh, 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 yeah. She looks good in the suit.
My Lord.
Sorry.
My God, people. Stop it.
Sorry, I've been single too long. All right, let's.
Captain Marvel, are they going to call him Shazam Jr.? Like,
Sam Jr. Ugh, that hurts.
I know, it doesn't, like...
Anyway, the costumes look great. Thanks. Let's get off this line of thought.
Hold on.
These are interesting questions, because, I mean, like, we're seeing pictures and they look great, but I mean, without those names, what are they? And and again, I haven't read Shazam in a long time, so someone can correct me on this. I'd appreciate
IMDb has it listed as Superhero Mary.
Yeah, I saw that, and that I really hope that's
and Superhero Pedro and like
they
so on and so forth.
Cannot go with that. Like, I want to know what they're going to call them, and I'm wondering because that is a legit question because they are the Marvel family. So what do you call them when you can't call them the Marvel family?
Because they kind of just they were just kind of thrown in at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So there's no need to have like superhero names at that point.
But now they're going to have it was almost a throwaway scene with them there, but now they're going to be in there a lot. So
yeah, they seem to have invested in it. So I'm wondering what they are. Because I don't know what they're called in the comics, to be honest with you. Does this even exist as this in the comics? I'm not 100% sure, I haven't read. I'm going to avoid all those. For the YouTube fans, you see what I'm talking about. I want credit for not taking the easy joke, and I'm just going to let it lie.
Right, that John is doing his Dr. Evil impression?
That's one set of jokes we can go with.
Oh, I know what you're going for.
No, let's just say that, in this time of COVID, we've learned that cats really like to hog the spotlight and
John,
we have learned that at the time.
John, stop playing with your pussy. All right, let's move on.
You didn't have to.
Oh, wow, your cat really loves you.
Of course he does.
He's just giving you kisses all over the place.
You know what? Speaking of love, that there's a thing on the internet called shipping. When
that is a thing,
and they put two characters together, and I've heard this before, but I didn't realize it was still a thing.
There are things that should not be done.
Apparently, Falcon and Bucky have been shipped.
But why? Internet, why?
I've actually heard two different. I've actually heard two very interesting takes on this argument from the LGBT community and from the non.
So hold on.
Interesting.
We'll get to your point in a second. So Anthony Mackie was asked about this in a recent interview, and here's what he actually had to say. So many things are twisted and convoluted. There are so many things that people latch onto with their own devices to make themselves relevant and rational. The idea of two guys being friends and loving each other in 2021 is a problem because of the exploitation of homosexuality. It used to be guys can be friends, we can hang out, and it was cool. You would always meet your friends at the bar. You can't do that anymore because something as pure and beautiful as homosexuality has been exploited by people who are trying to rationalize themselves. And the internet blew up and threw a lot of hate at Anthony Mackie for saying that.
He didn't have to word it that way. I mean, I get where he was. There's things I agree with because it seems like every male friendship needs to be quote unquote shipped. So there's a thing like what guys cannot be friends. So I get that part of the argument, but at the same time, I read a gay commenter on Twitter saying we're so underrepresented that we're trying to see ourselves in popular culture. We're sorry that offends you. And I read it I'm like, you know what? He's got a good point. So I understand both sides of the argument.
I get that. But then my reverse argument to that is also trying to say that. So you're saying that you can't have a platonic friend,
No, it's not. I don't think they're saying is we don't get anything. We don't get it. So we have to find things because they don't serve us. And I understand his argument. And I agree that you should be able. The thing of the matter is all male relationships are portrayed as just friendships. And people do see stuff that isn't there because it's not portrayed any other way. And I'm like, you know what? That's a good point. That's a good point. It is.
See, the thing is that on the internet, like in anime, there is an entire genre called yaoi, which is basically, two male friends better than friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is as opposed to Yuri, which is two women friends, whatever. But the thing is, like, the shipping is like in anime and the geek subculture, shipping is like huge. Like there's somebody's always, if you get two guys that are friends in an anime for like half a second, there's gonna Reddit's going to blow up with ships for it. Like there's always, and there are ships that are way more popular than others. So it's not like, I mean, I get where he's coming from, but it's the internet. Let people, they don't have.
It was something that Anthony Mackie didn't need to spend any time on.
Right. Yeah.
Right. It was he created a needless debate that would only make him look bad, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. And there's no way you're going to stop it. It's not like you can't call it because it's just, there's too many people in the world, too many different points of view. You're going to get a subculture like that. And that's fine.
And people are allowed to critically interpret things the way they want.
And my thought process is a question you can't win. It doesn't matter.
No.
The reporter asked the question, and then it's like, it doesn't matter how he answered it. People were going to attack him, period.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's a time bomb question. It's absolutely a time bomb question.
Yeah, because that's how the internet works.
He tried to be as diplomatic as possible, and he really just said, "Oh man, people can say whatever they want on the internet, and just leave it alone." And even that would have gotten them in trouble. There's no way
that would have been less trouble.
It would have been less trouble because people would have called him a chicken for dodging the question. But you know what? But that goes away, right? It's like, do you see the John Cena thing? Like John Cena accidentally referred to Taiwan as a country.
Oh yeah, the China.
And then he had to make an apology in Mandarin.
And they went after him.
It is, but the Chinese went after him. So then John Cena had to get on Twitter and do a video where he's apologizing in Mandarin for acknowledging that a country exists. Oh yeah, it's the biggest puss move of all time. So I mean, people from across the political spectrum came together to agree that John Cena was a giant weenie that day.
Yes.
So it was the one thing that's united our country is everybody was disgusted by John Cena.
John Cena, yes.
His lack of testicles. Like, it's just like, you can't win. Like, you cannot win. That's why it's best just to go, oh yeah, it's whatever. People, it's whatever.
Well, and the problem is that the people that write his checks told him to do that because they have to do business with China.
Of course, yeah. Oh, for John Cena, yeah, absolutely. But he just never should have said anything about Taiwan in general. Was he right? Yes. But then it's going to, because now Fast and Furious is going to do terrible in China and they're going to lose a lot of money because of that. Is it right? Absolutely not. Did he do himself any favors? Nope.
No.
Not a single one.
Not
and
a single one.
Does Universal look bad in all this? Nope. Does China look bad? Any worse than ever? Nope. They're still in a net zero position. Yep. They're still what they are. And John Cena looks like a giant bitch. That's the only person that lost out on this.
Yep.
So again, when you're an actor, you can't win. That's why you're better off just going, be like David Lynch. Never do interviews. Never talk about what you do.
I mean, it's so funny too, right? Because like we live in a world where we're surrounded by media now, and everyone wants their soundbite and all that crap. And it's just like,
that's the drawback though. When you're looking for a soundbite, sometimes you give it.
But you know that if he had switched places with Dwayne Johnson would have told China to go screw themselves.
Dwayne Johnson. I don't know. I don't think he would have.
I think he would.
No, Dwayne Johnson does not make those mistakes.
I think, yeah, exactly. I don't know.
You also got to get a better PR person that can lay a bunch of questions not to ask you. Because for years, Tom Cruise never got asked about his goofy religion until he got worse PR people, and then they struck like vipers.
Granted, like that's an easy target though. That is
easy target.
That's a soft target.
Super easy target. But then you said when your PR person knows it's an easy target, he goes, "You will not ask him about this, or we will never do your show again." That's what PR people are supposed to do. PR people are supposed to protect stupid celebrities from looking stupid in front of massive amounts of people, because celebrities can't help but look stupid.
Yes.
But again, who of us wouldn't if think about how many stupid things we do a show. That's our gimmick. We say stupid shit.
Exactly.
Like That's literally what we do. But imagine if like people put any value or stock in what we said, we'd be screwed.
Oh, we
right?
would have been canceled a long time
Years
ago.
ago. And
We
like,
also would have started a whole bunch of rumors, but
we've tried. None of them have caught on. I'm still have hope. But that's the thing is like these guys can't win no matter what they say. And Anthony Mackie clearly tried to tiptoe around the subject he really didn't want to talk about, but had thoughts. And that's the problem with having thoughts. It's like you're
so we're not allowed to think. Is that,
no
more thinking.
No more thing. I mean, like that's the problem. It's like but if they set booby traps for you, that question was just to get him in trouble.
Yes,
right.
Was.
And but at the same time, the counter argument makes sense too. Yes, we're going to see this and stuff because we're not represented anywhere. And you got to go, yeah, you're right, you're not. So I get it. But at the same time, it's like, well, you know, that's not what we're doing. And they go, oh, well, why isn't it what you're doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way to win. There's no way to win. That's why representation is important. So we don't have to have these arguments.
Yes. Or good PR people. One or the other.
Better PR people. It's amazing Marvel let them screw that up, to be quite honest with you. Because Disney usually does have the best PR people.
Yes. This is true.
or they just buy the country that's given them from. So
Not China. You're having had success buying China.
Not yet.
We're trying.
Well, no, China's going to buy us. That's a whole other story. All right.
It's possible.
And last but not least, Carrie Fisher has gotten a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and Mark Hamill did the induction for it.
I cannot believe that she didn't have one before now.
Me too. I was thinking the same thing.
Exactly. That's why I brought this article up. I was shocked that she didn't have one either.
That seems like a no-brainer with everything because she was a writer, she was a director, she was an actress.
It might have been because she never took any guff from anybody.
That's possible.
She's like threatened directors, which and rightfully so in certain cases, you know, like so.
I mean, there was one that a few years ago I was shocked. I was shocked, but then when I thought about it, I'm like, it makes sense. Adam West just got one right before he died, actually.
Adam West I kind of get because after Batman went off the air,
what else did he do besides Batman?
Family Guy, and that was in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Right, exactly. So
I get that.
Right, but Carrie Fisher's yes, everyone knows her as Princess Leia, but she's done a lot of other stuff too.
She directed, she did a lot.
Yeah, I was shocked that she did not have one.
I'm glad she does now, because that's definitely well deserved.
Yes. So.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
she's missed.
John has one.
Do you know how you have to start on the Walk of Fame?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, we got it for you a couple years ago, didn't I tell you?
Oh, you mean the one that you draw in crayon?
Yes.
You drew in crayon on the.
I had someone go out to California and write his name on one of the stars.
When I was 14 or 15, I forget what age, we went to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, and it was when the OJ thing was all going on. And his bust had not been shined, so it looked creepy, and they kind of turned down the light because they all had a light that shined down it. OJ's did not, because again, this was when the trial was getting going, and then that weekend is the weekend it got stolen. So we were there 94. Okay, yeah. So that was the same weekend that it got taken from the hall. My dad jokes did you take that when I wasn't looking? I wish I'd have thought of that. That'd have been really funny. Yeah, it was so weird because that's actually 26 years ago. Then wow, I'm old. It made me think of that. I don't know why. The idea of John having a star on the Walk of Fame made me think of O.J. Simpson. Think about that.
I really don't appreciate that.
I don't blame you. If you're mad at me, I get it. I'll accept it.
I love the comparison. John is our OJ.
I don't know why I thought that. I don't know where it came from, but I thought it was a good story.
All right.
Do you have a white Bronco in the driveway?
No, I do not.
You ever see that 30 for 30 documentary where it was about that? I forget the date in 1994, where it was the OJ Bronco escape. It was Game 7 of the World Series and some big NBA game that I forgot off the top of my head. And it's this documentary where there's no interviews. It's just editing news clips of the day, and the Masters was going on. It's just editing news clips of the day to tell this narrative story about this one day in American history and how bonkers it was.
I was in Dallas, Texas when that happened. It's one of those, I don't know why, but it's one of those things where you just remember it.
Oh, yeah,
because
I was
it was so
home.
big.
Yeah, I was at home watching it on my TV. I totally remember. Like it was literally one of like the most important days in like pop culture American history, definitely in the 1990s. And it's a fascinating documentary, if nothing else than for the production element of it. And for the life of me, I cannot remember the title.
Yeah, and it's real sad for the Police Squad movies.
Yeah, those movies don't age. The Naked Gun movies, they don't age nearly as well as they used to.
Yeah.
Oh, just forget who he is. Pretend
Norberg, we don't need Norberg.
Yep. Or if they can cut him out.
Or digitally edit someone else in.
Hey, why not? We're doing that with everyone else now. Why not with OJ? Take him out. 35th. I'm going to look up this thing so I can give that'll be my recommendation for the week.
Okay, well, see, there you go. That was all the news for the week. So let's wrap this up with recommendations. And John, you can start.
I don't know. Again, like we're kind of between seasons on a lot of stuff. Go see Loki. It's well worth it. It's just the Marvel stuff keeps getting better. It's all I've got for now. And we're going to do the next book in the Dresden series next full moon next week. Cool.
Looking forward to it.
We better be. I'm listening to it.
Yeah, me too.
All right,
I'm
JD.
reading it.
I don't have the time to read these books. I like to have James.
I can listen while I go on my walks.
Yes, and I have a long drive this week, so I'm very excited about that.
There you go.
Yeah, the movie is called, it's kind of funny actually, June 17th, 1994, which is only 4 days after, the 26th anniversary is 4 days after we're recording this. So yes, this is a 30 for 30 documentary by Brett Morgan, phenomenal documentary filmmaker. That's about this one amazing day in, like, I guess you want to say sports history, but it's also more like American pop culture history. It kind of revolves around the OJ story, but it's also, Arnold Palmer played his last round at the Masters. The FIFA World Cup started off in Chicago. Patrick Ewing was playing in the Garden, and Donald Fear stepped down from the baseball motors. I mean, this is like a crazy day where so much happened, and
everything got eclipsed.
Everything got eclipsed by OJ, but it was bouncing back and forth, and the way the stories kind of overlap each other, and how the film, it's just pure editing, which is, as a video editor, I really like how it was put together, because there's no interviews, right? There was nothing that was shot for this movie. It's just editing. It's just editing news clips and Sports Center and game footage. It's brilliant. It's such a good movie. June 17th, 1994.
Wow.
Cool. All right. Well, I will recommend that you go to superheroespeak.com, where you can find not only the podcast every week, and not only comic book reviews by our good friend D Square, and links to all our social media at the top of the page, but post it today, and there'll be more stuff coming. But we at Superhero Speak got an exclusive. This is an exclusive for Superhero Speak. First look at Captain America, the first 80 years. It is a book that is coming out from Titan Comics. And they gave us some images and an excerpt from the book that has been published on our website. So head on over to superheroespeak.com if that interests you and check it out. The book comes out July 13th, and it'll be available on booksellers everywhere. You can pre-order it now on Amazon. And yeah, it looks pretty good.
It does look really cool. I was looking at the preview. Like, I definitely want to read this when it comes out. It looks really neat.
Yes. So yeah, we have a couple more things that dropped in our inbox that we'll start making sure we publish those on the website.
Very cool.
And yeah, I'm gonna second you guys here with the, check out Full Moon, the second book in the Dresden Files. If you like James Marsters, do the audiobook. That's what I'm doing. And
I just do his voice in my head when I'm reading it.
I don't blame you. I get it.
And we will be discussing that next week on the podcast. So until then, as always, thanks for hanging out. And don't let your cape get caught in the door. Have a good week.